I keep getting texts from my neighbor. He died 2 weeks ago. I live in a small apartment building in a quiet town. It's nothing special. 4 floors, creaky elevators, and the kind of thin walls where you hear too much of other people's lives. Until recently, I lived next door to a guy named Mr. Hale. He was in his late 60s, quiet but polite. He had this old dog that used to bark whenever someone walked past his door. I'd see him in the hallway sometimes, usually carrying groceries or fiddling with his keys. He always gave me the same nod and half smile. 2 weeks ago, he died. I know because I saw the paramedics carrying his body out. His dog had been barking nonstop, which drew attention. Later that day, the landlord slipped a note under everyone's door explaining what happened. Natural causes, apparently. Sad, but not exactly shocking at his age. I didn't think much of it until 3 days later, when I got a text. It was from a number I didn't recognize at first. The message was simple. "Could you keep it down? I'm trying to sleep." My heart sank when I realized it was from Mr. Hale's number. I sat there staring at it, goosebumps crawling up my arms. I hadn't been making any noise. I was just scrolling on my phone in bed. I thought maybe someone else had gotten his old number, but 3 days after he died? That seemed too fast. I didn't reply. The next night, another text came. "You're up late again." Walls are thin. That freaked me out more. I hadn't told anyone about my insomnia, and it was true. I'd been lying awake at 2 a.m., scrolling TikTok. I convinced myself it was a prank. Maybe the landlord. Maybe some bored neighbor who somehow got his number. But when I asked around casually, everyone swore they didn't know what I was talking about. A week passed. No more messages. I started to relax, figuring it was just some weird glitch. Then last night at 3:12 a.m., my phone buzzed. "Why are you in my apartment?" I froze. My blood went cold. I wasn't in his apartment. I was in my own bed, in my own unit. But the message came again, this time longer. "I hear you walking. I see your shadow under my door. Leave." I didn't move for what felt like hours. The only sound was the hum of my fridge down the hall. Finally, I worked up the courage to peek through the peephole of my door. The hallway was empty. No shadows, no footsteps. I barely slept after that. This morning, I went down to the landlord's office. I told him about the text, leaving out the supernatural part and focusing on how maybe Mr. Hale's phone was stolen or something. The landlord gave me this weird look and said, "That apartment's sealed. Has been since the cleaners came through." When I asked about the dog, he shook his head. There was no dog. That part still doesn't make sense. I heard it barking. I know I did. Anyway, I thought maybe confronting it directly would help. So tonight, just a little while ago, I replied to the number for the first time. I wrote, "You're dead. Stop texting me." Almost immediately, 3 dots appeared, the typing indicator. My stomach dropped. The reply came, "So are you." I swear I heard scratching at my door right after that. Slow, deliberate, like fingernails dragging down the wood. I'm writing this now because I don't know if I'll be able to sleep. My lights are on. My door's locked. My phone is face down beside me, but I can feel it buzzing every few minutes. More messages are coming in, but I can't bring myself to look. If I do, I'm afraid I'll see something I can't ignore. And I'm even more afraid that if I look away from the door for too long, I won't be alone in here anymore.